Hey, Jules Blessed Vegan, and as always, welcome. I am still struggling. It's just one of those things that's worse before it gets better, but I'm showing up. I'm doing my life. I did my rebounding. I checked out my Tanny Raw Reset video and, gave comments. And what I wanted to share was part 2 of mindfulness. And this was based on an amazing TED Talk by a fantastic lady of whom I am not familiar, but I am now. She's actually a doctor and a doctor of education and science, and her name is Shauna Shapiro. And the TED Talk was called The Power of Mindfulness. What you practice grows stronger. And of course, that's whether you're practicing negative thoughts or positive thoughts. Whatever you're practicing in your mind grows stronger. So I am absolutely connecting this into the overview of this video so that you can watch it, and I pray that you will. It's about 13 minutes, but man, I just couldn't stop listening. It was so fantastic. She's pretty funny, very informed. There's some large terminology, but mostly it is an amazing story. And as much as I don't want to send someone away from my popular page, you can go ahead. Excuse me, you can go ahead and watch that instead. But I'm just going to be a moment to give you an overview. So the most powerful thing were those 5 words: what you practice grows stronger. And basically what her story was, when she was like 17, she had to get a spinal fusion. And all of a sudden, she didn't have any control over her body. She couldn't walk. She couldn't do anything. And it took months and months of recovery. And even after that, what she said was, she could get over the physical pain, but she couldn't get past the mental anguish of feeling that her life was just over as she knew it, and she just didn't know if it'd get better. You can imagine she was a super active 17-year-old and really cute. And then peace out, man. So somehow she ended up in a monastery in Thailand where she was going to do meditation and ultimately learned about mindfulness. And so basically, her message, one of her biggest messages, is that none of us are perfect. And unfortunately, we, in failing to be perfect, are super judgmental. Hello, I so get that. We're super judgmental. And that while we cannot become perfect, we can all become transformed. And that was like her biggest message. You can all be transformed. You can change, you can learn, and you can grow. I love that. I honor myself by being a lifelong learner, but I really appreciate that. So, well, she couldn't get through the pain. I mean, forgive me, she got through the pain, but she couldn't get through the fear that she would never be well again, and she couldn't get through the loneliness. And I understand that too, because I've been injured many times in my life, or sick, or had surgery, and people visit initially, but not for long, right? Because life goes on. I remember what was really funny, I had to do traction for my back before I actually ended up getting surgery, and I was in traction for months, and all of a sudden I was held captive. I was like, people came and just thought they were in a confessional. They told me all their business, all their life, for months at a time, and I was a captive audience, to put it mildly. So I so get that. But anyway, she went to this monastery, started to learn meditation, but what they started with was simply breathing. They asked her to be present and mindful for breathing, and to just breathe 1, 2, and by 2, she'd already had her mind straying. Tried to come back, 1, 2, mind straying. And then that's when she started putting herself down, saying, I'm never going to get this, I'm such a loser, blah, blah, blah. And then the monk said, what you practice grows stronger. And so she realized she had to practice love and kindness. And it was a huge process for her. And it says that 47% of the time we are not present. So half our life we're not present. We're wandering. What was interesting was a big study that they did recently where they said that a goldfish could focus for 8 seconds at a time. No, forgive me. A goldfish could focus for 9 seconds at a time. Humans could only focus for 8. We're 1 second less than a goldfish. And they're not kidding. Oh my gosh, they're not kidding. So she just kept coming back to the breathing and trying so hard to get the breathing down. And what they went from there was self-acceptance, which is like my whole thing. I really I'm trying to be into self-acceptance. And so what they had her do was they had her put her hand on her heart and look in the mirror. And they wanted her to say, I love you, but she couldn't, which I so get. So she looked in the mirror instead and said, good morning, Shauna. Just good morning, Shauna, with her hand on her heart, like affirming that she was present and just saying, good morning, Shauna. And then she did that for a whole month. It was awkward and kind of weird. And finally, after a month or two, she was able to say, I love you, Shauna. She didn't mean it at first. Again, something I so get. I really struggle with that. She didn't mean it, but she said it anyway. Hand on her heart, I love you. Oh no, good morning, Shauna, I love you. And after a while, she said, after, a month or so of faking it till she made it, finally, she just felt this warmth of love. And she said it was like the love of her grandmother, the love of her mother, like all the most intimate, precious love she'd ever experienced finally came. And she was able to mean it. Don't get me to say it. Good morning. I love you, Juliana. I'm going to work on it. I am. I'm going to try it. Seriously, I'm going to watch that video again when I feel better. So, you need to train your mind. You can actually train your mind to be here. And she goes through this whole exercise of closing your eyes, feet on the floor, feeling your breath. It's pretty interesting. So I say thumbs up to this video, which I'm attaching, and I pray you'll take the time to see it. You're worth it. It's worth it. And until we talk again, I'm going to choose to get well and ask you to be blessed.